365 Sports.
Welcome back to the show, 365 Sports Mizzou with Rogue Media. My name is Davis Wilson. Happy Tuesday. I will be honest with you guys. I just recorded this show. I just recorded over half an hour of this show on mute. My mic was muted. Now it is on. But golly, I'll tell you what, that is pretty deflating. I even, as I was doing the show, I was like, man, this feels pretty good. I've got, I did a good job here. I feel proud of my work, which is a nice feeling to have. And then I, wrapped the show and looked down and saw a big red light on my microphone and realized that, oh no, I've probably just recorded 30 minutes of myself on mute. And I listened back to it. My fears were confirmed. And in fact, you could hear nothing I said. And I promise I said some good stuff. So I guess I'll just run through everything again. If it feels scripted, it's because it kind of is. I've done this before. But I'm happy to do it again. It's, it's the way it goes. It's part of the job. And, but golly, is that not the worst? I mean, geez, amateur hour. And I'll also be honest with you here. I ran, not to be one of those guys who, likes to talk about how far they run, but I ran this morning and I felt pretty good about my run. It was a longer run. So I've been kind of looking forward to maybe getting a little nap in. And I was like, man, I just did a great episode. I deserve it. I ran this morning. Take a little nap. And then, so now I'm back here doing it all again. And if you've been here before, you know that on Tuesdays we will, we talk about Missouri's offense. And if you don't know, Missouri beat Arkansas on Saturday, 31-17. Got it done on the road, wrapping this regular season up with an 8-4 record. They are 4-4 overall in the SEC. Not the best season you could have ever imagined out of this team, but certainly not the worst you could have imagined out of this team. So it is what it is. And Missouri got it done on offense with one idea in mind, and that was that they were going to run the football. This was as one-sided of an offensive approach that I have seen almost ever, outside of like the military, the academy schools. Like they obviously like to run the ball, but there was a stat I saw on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast. Missouri ran the ball 58 times, by the way. I'll just start with that. Get that picture in your mind. 58 yards for 322 yards. 58 times for 322 yards and 3 touchdowns. They threw the ball 7 times. Bo Prabula was 4 of 7 with 25 yards. And one of his passes was one of those little pop passes, like the little touch passes it's basically a running play. So I don't even know if I'd count that. But here's the stat I found. Really just something else. Truly. Hold on. Navy has thrown more passes in every game this year than Mizzou did tonight. Army has thrown more passes in all but 3 games in 2025. So even the academy schools are throwing it around more than Missouri did on Saturday against the Arkansas Razorbacks. And, I think going into the game, it was really clear. Arkansas had a great offense, and they had a terrible, terrible defense. So, I think, Kirby Moore has gotten a lot of flack all year long from me, from other fans, from national pundits and whatnot. And I think some of that is warranted because he has not been perfect this year. There have been a lot of things that he's done, decisions he's made that just make me wonder what the hell he's thinking up there in that box. But I will say this. I think he called a great game against Arkansas. And it's a lot of you will say, what are you talking about? They threw the ball 7 times. They had 4 completions. They threw for 25 yards against the worst defense in the SEC. And that is all true. That is all very true and fair. And I admit that that part of this is not ideal. But the part that I liked was I think that Kirby Moore, this is something I've been asking him to do all year. Kirby Moore recognized the strength of not only his offense, but of his quarterback, and that is running the ball. We've seen now over the past couple of weeks that this Missouri offense can't throw with much efficiency at all. It's an offense that is extremely, extremely reliant on Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts and that offensive line to pick up yards on the ground. And this game just amplifies that for me. Like, it's clear that they would prefer to just run it than let Bo Prabula throw. And, a lot of, you're probably wondering why I think they called a great game, and I'll tell you why now. When Missouri got Bo Prabula out of the portal, there was one thing I knew about him and one thing that a lot of Missouri fans knew about him, and that was that he could run. He was an incredible athlete. He came in at times for Penn State and was like this, almost an extra running back. He would get out there and he would run the ball really well, but he didn't have much passing experience there for Penn State. And that is where the question mark was when Missouri brought him in to be the starting quarterback this year. And so his strength is to run. He is a dual threat guy with an emphasis on the run. He is, especially with the tape we saw out of Penn State. Now, obviously that is what we knew, and maybe the coaches knew something different, or maybe the idea that Bo was a run-first quarterback was maybe people forgot about it after the way that Bo Prabula threw the ball the first couple of weeks of the season against Central Arkansas, against Kansas, against Louisiana. Like those defenses aren't any good, and Bo Prabula looked great throwing the football. I mean, he not only did he look better than I thought he looked great. I thought he looked like one of the best passers in the SEC. But it turns out that was because those defenses are terrible. And I wonder if seeing those couple games where he threw for over 300 yards, I wonder if that made the coaches think, hey, he can throw more than we thought. Maybe we shouldn't just rely on his legs. And, I don't think that was the right decision. Maybe they saw some stuff in practice that made them also think, yeah, he can throw. But he did not get nearly enough designed quarterback runs as I thought he would. I mean, I think, I don't know. I'm trying to think about other games where I noticed like he was getting a ton of quarterback designed runs, and I can't really think of many. I mean, in this game, the design runs, it was everywhere. Like, the first play of the game after a nice return from Marquise Johnson, the first play of the game is a read option in which Bo Prabula pulls it and runs it for over 50 yards, sets the team up in the red zone, and then the very next play, it's a quarterback draw. And the quarterback draw was working all game. It really was. It was great. But I guess what I'm saying is I don't think they got enough designed runs for him. It doesn't feel like, at least to me, he only had, this season, he had 244 designed rush yards. So, It doesn't say how many design runs he had, but he had 190 scramble rush yards. So there you go. Oh, but I think I'm kind of getting distracted here by those stats, but I think today, finally, Kirby Moore said, I know what Bo Prabila is good at. I know that he is great at running the football. So I think he said, F it. Let's run it 60 times because I know Arkansas cannot stop us. Even if they put 9 men in the box, Arkansas is not good enough to stop this run game. Especially, you add Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts. You add Bo Prabila to that, and it's just like it's another wrinkle to the run game. So I think that was a big deal in terms of, for me, Kirby Moore recognizing the strength of this team and his quarterback, which is something I think that he hasn't really done much this year. But Bo Prabila ran the ball 16 times, 78 yards and a touchdown. If you take away the 2 sacks, he ran 14 times for 101 yards and a touchdown. And to me, I mean, I don't know if these design runs would work. I mean, against a defense like Oklahoma or Texas A&M or Alabama, but I do think that it was worth a try because the run game or the pass game clearly wasn't working. Your pass game was essentially useless at Oklahoma, and Bo Prabila only ran it 8 times for -1 yards, and some of those were sacks. I know some of those were sacks. He was sacked 4 times, so he only had 4 other runs, and combined, and in college football, they count sacks against the rushing yards of a quarterback. Only -1 yards. So they didn't even try to let him run the ball against Oklahoma. And especially when your offense is struggling so much, that's when I would try that out. Vanderbilt, he only ran it 4 times for 10 yards. Granted, he went out early with the ankle injury. Against Auburn, he did run 16 times for 28 yards. 3 of those were sacks, though. Against Alabama, he ran 11 times for 61 yards and a touchdown. That's the best. To me, that's the best this offense has looked against an SEC defense until Mississippi State and until now against Arkansas. So I think if you could go back in time, I think they would try to get more design runs, run more of an option offense where you have read options, you have Bo Prabila deciding whether he hands it off to Hardy or keep it. Or you add another wrinkle into this and you go with the RPO offense where it's a run-pass option. And I don't remember a ton of run-pass options all year long, but I think that's something that, would have been great for Bo Prabila. So I want to give Kirby Moore credit for recognizing that this was the strength of his team. Running the football, not just with your 2 great running backs, but with your athletic quarterback who you haven't run all year. And maybe that's because they were worried about his ankle after the Vanderbilt game, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. So that is something that I took away. I mean, they just ran it down Arkansas's throats. The offensive line was great. I thought the tight ends were great blocking. Ahmad Hardy ran 27 times for 157 yards and a touchdown. I want to talk about the year he had because it was pretty incredible. They even after the game was well in hand, they had a 2-score lead over Arkansas. They kept him in to run the ball, trying to get him to take over the nation's lead in rushing yards. Cam Cook finished the year, with 1,574 yards. Ahmad Hardy was 15 yards behind him with 1,559 yards. So came just shy of Cam Cook. Finished second in the country in rushing yards. He was number 1 in the country in rush yards after contact, which is pretty good. He had 40 runs of 10 yards or more, 10 or more yards. Like, just an incredible year. And you look at what he did here against Arkansas. Right, he had 157 yards on 27 carries. 122 of them came after contact. He forced 9 missed tackles. which puts his total for the year. Let this load, and I'll tell you what his total missed tackles forced is. Come on, load for me here. Come on. Really loading. Here we go. 85 missed tackles forced, which is good enough for third in the country behind Keywan Lacey of Ole Miss. Man, Keywan Lacey, what a year he had. Shout out to him. I'm happy for him. I always liked him. I was really sad when Missouri lost him, but they replaced him with a hell of a player, so I can't be too sad now. He had 88 missed tackles forced, and then Cam Cook of Jacksonville State had 93 missed tackles forced. Cam Cook played for TCU last year. If anybody remembers that, I watched some TCU football last year, and he had 454 yards on 116 attempts, 3.6 yards per carry. He was not that great last year. I wonder if he's in line for another kind of transfer up to some other program, or if he'll stay there in Jacksonville State. But a great year for him. But the point of this, I guess, was Ahmad Hardy, just an incredible year for him. Really exceptional stuff. And, I saw his post game. Everybody was talking about Drinkwitz's contract extension, and somebody asked him about that. And he said, all I know is that's good for me that he's staying. And that makes me feel like he's going to stay. And it's crazy that I even have to talk about it, but you never know in this day and age. Some sort of team like Georgia or, Michigan or some big money team could come in and say, hey, we want your running back. We're going to pay a bunch of money for him. And, a lot of times you can't match that. But I think Missouri has the financial capability of matching that and keeping Ahmad Hardy around. I think something Drinkwitz has harped on for years now is roster retention, rather than just going in the portal and spending a bunch of money. He likes to allocate a lot of those resources to retaining his roster. And I think that Ahmad Hardy is at the top of that list. So is Donovan Olubade, and so is Josiah Trotter. I think all those guys will be priorities for them to bring back. But overall, yeah, I'm just excited to see kind of what happens next year. And I don't want to get too far into the future because, there's no need for that. But the season is over, so I'm allowed to. I think your goal now for Drinkwitz has to be, let's fix the passing game. Because you're going to have the best running back in the country in Ahmad Hardy. Let's I don't know, either let's make Bo Prabula a whole lot better, or let's progress Zollers, or let's go get a 1-year kind of gap quarterback to bridge the gap between Prabula and Zollers in the portal. Let's go get someone who can open up this passing attack. Maybe you try something else at offensive coordinator. I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's go fill in some holes on the offensive line. But it'd be great if they get Caden Green back. I think he's eligible to be drafted, but if they can get him back, that's a huge step. But yeah, I think that the priority here has to be, let's just focus on getting this passing attack to be somewhat dangerous. And then you've got a great passing attack and a great running attack. And I think that is where you start to see a really good offense. Okay. Speaking of that offense, receivers. James Madison, former recruit out of Florida, transferred from Missouri today, or he will transfer when the portal opens. He announced his intention to transfer today. Only 19 snaps this year. I was always excited about him, but just didn't play enough. I imagine you might lose another guy out of that room just because of what the passing offense was this year. But so if you can go get, you're definitely losing Kevin Coleman Jr. So if you can you can keep Olubade, if you can keep Manning, maybe you go get another guy who can, play out of the slot or something. I think, that's good. Jude James, the guy that I think will continue to step up. I assume Norfleet may go to the draft. I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, the offense, just go get a passing attack. Let's try to fix this passing attack, because you've got the best running back in the country, and you don't really have. We could feel good about what we have there. So yeah. Overall, though, just pretty remarkable stuff. 58 runs to 7 passes. There was a clear intention here. Jamal Roberts, 11 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. Hey, I mean, I was at a Thanksgiving kind of celebration on Saturday, so I had the TV muted, but I saw Power Mizzou tweeted about how, they were not getting Jamal Roberts' name right at all. Every run, and in my rewatch this morning, I saw that. Like, every time he had a run, they called him a Mod Hardy, which is just ridiculous. But 11 carries, 100 yards, a touchdown, a long of 38, had 4 runs of over 10 yards, which led the team. Great player. I wonder what he'll do. I wonder if he'll try to go be a starter somewhere. He absolutely is good enough to do that, but it would be great to have the 1-2 punch here if he comes back. We'll see. Let's get into grades. Let's see here. Offensive grade, best graded offensive player was Keegan Trost, the right tackle. Really, really good in this game. Jumped out on the film, kind of eating up the defenders, creating big holes. 88.2 grade for him. Mod Hardy, number 2, with an 85.8 grade. Again, just a phenomenal finale of his sophomore season. I think he's going to go into next year as one of the Heisman favorites and probably the favorite to be the first running back taken in the 2027 draft. So it's exciting. Jamal Roberts, 75.8 grade. Another good game for him. Curtis Piegler, the right guard, who's gotten better as the year's gone on in my eyes. He'll be back, I'm sure. 73.4 grade. And then Tristan Wilson took 40 snaps at center, 68.9 grade. Connor Tollison, 69 snaps at center, but really struggled. So they got him in there. Brett Norfleet was the lowest graded player of the game for Missouri, and he had a couple drops. Didn't look that great, but that's okay. Passing, don't even really have to talk about the passing grade, but Bo Prabula had a 32.7 passing grade, so pretty good there. Receiving grade, not even going to touch on it because it doesn't matter. Rushing grade, Ahmad Hardy, 83.5. Jamal Roberts, 73.5. Bo Prabula, 66.5. Big stuff there. Rushing direction, I always like to see, like, what are we doing here? What is this? Where, like, Ahmad Hardy was most productive. He got 53 of his yards going between the center and the right guard. So that's pretty cool. So up the middle. Scored his touchdown from there up the middle. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of his game came on the inside runs and counters, and then a couple big plays on the outside zones. But Roberts got 52 of his 100 yards outside zone to the right. So there you go. Blocking grades. Let's start with pass blocking. With Caden Green, 83.7 grade. 0 pressures allowed. Dominic Judice, another great transfer for that offensive line, 81.6. Keegan Trost, the right tackle, 81.5. Tristan Wilson, 78.4. Maybe that's your center for next year. He had a good game. And Curtis Piegler, 78.4. Connor Tollison had a 50.1 pass block grade, so definitely struggled. Run blocking, Keegan Trost, 83.0. Curtis Piegler, 72.1. Jude James, the young tight end, had a couple outstanding blocks, coming across to make a big kind of a crackback block, and was really good. Tristan Wilson, 76.9, and Caden Green, 66.0. So there's your 5 highest graded run blockers. That's kind of everything here for the offense. And overall, I like that they recognize their strength. I wish it could be more balanced offense. And obviously this doesn't work against other teams, but I like that they recognized that they could do this, that they could run the ball, keep Arkansas's defense on the field, and keep Arkansas's offense off the field. I love that that was a priority for them. So, I think I'm excited to see kind of what happens this offseason. I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the season with, other SEC squads. I think I'll probably preview the SEC championship game this week instead of a Missouri game, obviously, because the Tigers won't play. I'm excited to see where these playoff spots are going to go. It's crowded up there in the bubble, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll be back to update you on basketball a little bit.
Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more. All from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day, the tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense. Just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code ALLMIZZOU. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code ALLMIZZOU. Crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promo.
And there you go. That's DraftKings. Missouri recently legalized sports gambling, which is pretty exciting for the state. Of course, right when they do that, I moved back to Texas, so I am missing out on all the fun and everything. But you guys can join in on the fun by downloading DraftKings using all Mizzou promo code. That gets you, you bet $5, you get $300 of free play for all first-time Missouri bettors. So sign up with all Mizzou at DraftKings. Use promo code AllMizzou and all that good stuff. And, of course, gamble responsibly. All right, basketball. Let's give you a little update on basketball. I'm not going to get super deep into this, but Missouri is 8-0, and they have their first big test of the season tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPNU. Going to Notre Dame to play the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is 5-3 this year. They have losses: a 1-point loss to Ohio State, 10-point loss to Kansas, and a 10-point loss to Houston. So close losses. They have a win over Rutgers. That's about it, though. Missouri, this is a huge, huge test for them. We'll see what they look like, because Missouri has had a horrible schedule to start the year. So it's hard to know what this team is going to look like, but this is your chance. This is your test, a big road game that could be very important for your resume later on down the road in March. Missouri is 1.5-point underdog in this one. I think Anar Boateng plays. I think Trent Burns plays. I don't know about Trent Pierce. Jaden Stone, the transfer guard, who's been really nice scoring the ball out off the bench, he is out, I believe. I think the hope is that he'll be back for SEC play. So he'll be out for this week for sure. And this week is a big one. Obviously, tonight you have Missouri, Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a guard named Marcus Burton, who's averaging 20 points a game on 50% field goal shooting. And then on Sunday, you've got in Kansas City, Sunday at noon on ESPN2, the Kansas Jayhawks, number 21 in the country. A huge game. This week is just massive for Missouri basketball. We'll find out how good this team is. If they can get out of here with a 1-1 record, I feel fine about it. 2-0, obviously, you're ecstatic. 0-2, depending on how the losses look, is really disappointing. But huge opportunities this week for Missouri, and we'll see. More importantly than anything else, we'll get to see what this team looks like against real basketball teams at tournament level basketball teams, and that is something to be excited about. So 8 o'clock tonight on ESPNU. I'll be tuned in. I'll definitely talk about that tomorrow. Also tomorrow, I'll talk about Missouri's defense, Missouri football's defense against Arkansas. So come back tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Feel like I did pretty well here, my second go around of the day. You guys will never know what the first one sounded like, but I think this one was pretty good. I feel okay about it. That's all I have, though. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go take a nap now. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk more Missouri sports.
365 Sports.